The ringing in my ears began to fade, replaced by screams and distant gunfire. Something warm spilled down my forehead, and the world around me was a haze. Instinctively, I raised my hand to wipe my brow, only to see my blur-gloved fingers covered in crimson. Suddenly, my vision started to focus. The dull throbbing in the back of my skull became ever-present. I'd been lying on my back, staring at a dilapidated ceiling. Scorch marks colored the roof soot black. The fog on my mind began to clear. My body roared back to life like a slip-space engine, adrenaline being the fuel. My fists clenched, teeth grit.
Get up!
I growled inwardly. I leaned on my side and began to pick myself up. A sudden burning sensation pulsed through my core and stopped me from standing.
Come on!
I cried desperately as another surge of adrenaline gave me the strength to push through the pain in my abdomen. Before I got back on my feet, I saw my helmet laying in front of me, so I made sure to grab it, pulling it over my head as I stood. The cracked visor flickered and displayed my vitals. I wasn't in great shape, but I'd been worse. I looked up and saw furniture had been burned and thrown around the room as a result of the explosion. It was only then I heard the coughing and sputtering from my fellow operative behind me. When I turned to look, my stomach dropped. An arm stuck out of a pile of heavy debris from the partially collapsed roof of the apartment. The burned fingers twitched in grotesque fashion as the armor plating over the forearm melted and bonded to the flesh.
Marcy!
I hollered with a pained gasp and hurriedly hobbled to the body under the rubble. I had gotten on my knees and begun to dig her out, pulling the broken slabs of concrete off her until she came free of her cement tomb. I pulled her into my lap, her helmeted head cradled in my left arm. She stared up at me through her shattered visor, looking through the polarized lens on my HUD and into my eyes. I couldn't look away. I couldn't stop the image of her seared and shredded face from burning into my mind. Her cracked lips opened to speak, but all that came through was a pitiful cry of agony. Tears spilled from her eyes. It felt as though my heart was being wrenched from my chest. Knowing what had to be done, I reached for the gun magnetized on my hip, the metal detaching as I clutched the pistol grip. A foreign feeling coursed through my core, racking my mind with each inch the barrel drew closer to her forehead. I never hesitated to pull the trigger before this, but I found my finger quivering.
I'm so sorry.
Gasping and bolting upright in bed. Chills run up my spine, lungs burn momentarily as I catch my breath. My heart pounds while adrenaline courses through my system. I'm drenched in cold sweat. Son of a... I let out an annoyed sigh and lay down again, quickly adjusting my breathing and body into relaxation. Turning my head to look out the hotel window at the city streets, a thin film of grime or dust covers the glass. Could use a cleaning. Cracked streets and sidewalks far below glisten due to partial dampness. From the cool moisture in the air flowing in through the slight gap in the window, I could tell it must have been raining. The freeway above blocked a direct downfall, but the water still flowed from up the street where there is open sky. Neon pink, orange, red, and blue signs jut out from the sides of buildings and other ends. The light spills in and illuminates this cramped room in a dull glow. I would have closed the blinds, but the dirty, tattered pull cord got jammed in the pulley. I hear distant police sirens, the droning sound of cars cruising along the overhead magnetic highway, muffled voices of neighboring motel guests, and the hum of the neglected radiator. A heavy, ragged sigh leaves my lungs while turning onto my back, shifting my body till my legs fall over the side of the disheveled bed and feet hit the cool floor. Sitting upright, the base of my skull throbs from the head rush, and my spine aches in protest, but I ignore the pain as there's a more ever-present burning sensation in my abdomen. Now bending down toward the foot of the bed to reach into a small pouch attached to my battered chest plate, digging out a little orange bottle containing aquamarine gel capsules, and subsequently popping it open, dumping 2 into my palm to swallow. After a few moments, the burning sensation begins to fade into a dull ache. With a pained sigh, I stand up and stretch, a satisfying crack accompanying the shift in my joints. I make my way to the bathroom, my hair just barely grazing the ceiling with every step. As I duck in through the doorframe and into the restroom, I flick on the light switch. The fluorescent lighting buzzes and makes my eyes sting at first, but I adjust quickly to the brightness. My vision clears. A reflection of a tired soldier glares back at me in the mirror. "Good morning, beautiful." I spit dryly, my voice hoarse and gravelly. My hands grip the side of the sink as I lean in and let out a ragged breath. Beating with my fiery red-orange gaze, fierce color in my irises matching that of my unkempt hair. A dark purple bruise covers my left eye, but at least hasn't swollen up enough to impair my vision. A little bit of dry blood cakes a scratch on my bottom lip, along with the cut above my right brow. My knuckles are an intense shade of red and purple. The rest of my face and body is marred by years of fistfights along with my time spent serving under Oni. The most prominent of my old wounds being the plasma burn that covers the entirety of the left side of my abdomen.
It was supposed to be you.
I stare past my reflection to the figure behind me, the source of the venomous voice belonging to her smoldering form. I turn my head, close my eyes in shame. Still, her face lingers in my mind. I'm unable to deny her truth, though. Never could. The events play over and over in my head, and the pangs of guilt wash in like waves during a storm.
I am so sorry, Marcy.
My voice wavers. A lump rises in my throat. My skull feels as though it's being squeezed. No matter how many times this routine repeats, I never get any closer to making peace with this. I don't deserve to.
Even if you kill them, it won't fix anything.
I feel her hovering over me, leaning in close to my ear. Her scorching hot fingers snakes up my back and clutch my shoulders.
You can't avenge me. It's your fault, Luke.
Her fingers rake against my neck. The ache in my abdomen erupts into an agonizing burning sensation.
Give up.
Shattered porcelain breaks me away from my hallucination. I look down to see a split in the sink where my hands balled into fists. A few pieces of material leaves minor cuts on my palms.
Son of a...
I sigh in frustration and wipe my brow of cold sweat before stepping over to the shower.